And we are live, I believe. I think we're good. Yo!
Hopefully.
What's going on, guys? Yeah. Welcome to episode 132 of Beastly Thoughts Live.
Nailed it.
What's going on, guys? I'm glad to see you both.
What's up, man?
How are you
What's
today?
happening? Doing real good, man. Happy to see you guys. It's been a hell of a week. One of those weeks that you just think, God, it's over with. But we are back with Beastly Thoughts episode 132. It's some really exciting stuff that's come out over the last 7 days. Some really nice game consoles that have made hit the ground running. I actually have an older brother who bought the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah, I got one too. Yep.
Your brother bought one too?
No, I bought a PlayStation Pro. I did not purchase a brother this week.
Just a brother.
It's more something I'm long term saving up for, a brother.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Do I mean brother in like the biblical sense or brother in like the black guy sense? Maybe I'm gonna. Oh, see, now that's racist because that would entode slavery if I was gonna buy a brother. So I better just step back. I'm gonna step back. Robbie, you're racist. I can't believe you just said that.
What? I didn't say that.
Listen, Briar, it's 2016. Some of us are for sale. How much money you got?
Not enough.
No one's for sale. No one's being bought. Okay, that is not okay anymore. Yeah.
Not okay anymore.
It was okay at one time. We'll not get into that.
It's all about perspective, I guess.
That's the Canadian perspective, because I'll tell you this. For some of us, it ain't never been okay. Welcome to the show, guys. I'm really excited to get together with you guys, like I am every week. Talk to the people who are watching about video games, what the latest news is, and what we've been playing. And let me just start off with what I've been playing, because for this last 7 days, it's been pretty tough on me. I haven't had a lot of time to play a lot of games. I went and saw some movies, went to the theater and saw Doctor Strange. That pulled away from my game time. I've also been doing 10, 12-hour days at work. So it's been really tough. But one fun thing that happened at work. Yeah. I took my PlayStation VR, PlayStation 4, the whole kit and caboodle to work in a duffel bag. I probably looked like I was smuggling drugs. Took it into my office and set it up. For two of my good friends there, Brian and Mike, and they came in and played. It's my production manager and one of the shift supervisors, and I actually sold a PlayStation VR for one of them, and this guy didn't even have a PS4. So
wow, what's your commission on that?
I'm trying to figure it out. I mean, I know that Sony, I know that I should get something for this, because at least one of those guys is buying a PS4 and a VR after playing what is it? Until Dawn, Rush of Blood. Uh-huh. And one of the guys played Batman Arkham VR, didn't want to take it off. I let them play the kitchen demo, scared the holy shit out of them. I still got to clean my seat. But it's been a pretty fun week at work. At home, not quite as much. I did do a lot of kind of random gameplays yesterday of games that I never really had the chance to play, because I make all my videos pretty much in one day. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. I kind of blitzed the market on my Friday night and Saturday morning, and yesterday I did 11 videos, and it was really, really tough. Took a long time, and I got into one game in particular, kind of stole my heart. It really made me sad, and I told you during the pre-show, upset that I hadn't got a chance to play it, but it's Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor. Mm-hmm. Never had a chance to play it. I can't remember exactly the game I was playing while my wife was beating that game, but I didn't pay attention to it. And I played probably the first hour of that game yesterday, 45 minutes. Fell in love with it. It's truly beautiful. And that's one of the games that's also supported by PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah. So what are the upgrades for it? Is it 4K or is it just the bump up in?
It's 4K. It's 4K resolution. I don't know if they're using the checkerboard rendering or if it's native.
Most games are.
Some games aren't. Games that are not. The Last of Us does not use checkerboard rendering at 30 frames per second. It's native 4K, and also the Elder Scrolls Skyrim.
A lot of controversy about The Last of Us on PS4 Pro. It actually runs worse on the Pro than it does on the standard PS4.
That's the thing that's really gotten me, and we could talk at length about this. That's one thing that's got me really on the fence about it. I actually did a video about it yesterday. A lot of these games are running at a frame rate that is less than the vanilla PlayStation 4. And this is something that Sony stated was not going to be the case. That's kind of what they put out there for all developers. Any game that gets the pro treatment needs to at least run as good as it did on the vanilla PS4.
Right.
This is not what we're seeing with The Last of Us. It's at some points it's dropping 5 and 6 frames per second compared to the original, just for that bump in resolution. And I think that I don't really know too many people who are really excited about that. There's sometimes give and take that's good. This is definitely not the case with the Pro. The thing I will say, though, to kind of back up a little bit from prematurely judging this is the Pro's been out for what? 4 days?
Yeah.
3 days?
Yeah, 4 days.
It's been out for 3 days, and some of these developers are still working on this new, the new hardware.
That's kind of the thing about the PlayStation 4, right? Is that it's brand new, and with any new console, it takes a while for developers to kind of get used to developing for that. And what we're seeing right now are games that were previously developed for the PlayStation 4 that are kind of getting like a port for the Pro, right? They're getting, it's not a different game. It's just like, well, maybe we can add in this, maybe we can add in that. And, they don't really know how to work with it yet. We're not going to see the full benefit of the PlayStation Pro until we see games that are developed from the ground up with the Pro in mind. So when we see things like Last of Us with a worse frame rate, or maybe the graphical fidelity on games like Call of Duty or Titanfall isn't as high as we'd like to see it, well, that's because it's basically just just getting up-resed. It wasn't built from the ground up with the Pro in mind. The thing is, right, how long will that take, and when is the PlayStation 5 coming out?
PlayStation 5 is going to be announced next year. You guys mark my words on this.
That early?
Next year, yep, they're going to announce it next year. The PlayStation 4 has already had an illustrious. I don't think so.
Maybe
I'm telling you, man. Look, we can all agree to disagree here, but the PlayStation 4 came out in 2013. 2017 is 4 years of the lifespan. Of course, we get an iterative upgrade with the PlayStation 4 Pro. That's 4 years. Nobody wants to have the lifespan of the PS4 be 6-8 years like the PlayStation 3. Sony and Microsoft have already alluded that this is not the case. They don't want to keep these generations lasting this long. With Microsoft coming out with the Scorpio, which is undoubtedly going to mop the floor with the PlayStation 4 Pro, you can see the PlayStation 4 Pro right now having major issues, even running games at 30 frames per second and keeping that frame rate compared to the original games. The Scorpio is not going to be. That's not going to be the case there. And if that happens to be the situation next year, Sony's got nothing. So they have to.
If they announce the PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 next year, let's say they do it at E3, that robs them because they're not gonna release it next year, right? You're saying they're going to announce it next year.
Yeah. They're going to announce it late next year, right around the time. Late 2018, holiday 2018 is when they're going to release it. I'm telling you, man.
They will not sell a PlayStation 4 for an entire year.
Yeah,
that's why the Xbox One S. That's why the Xbox One S is still selling and outselling the PlayStation 4 now, and it's won 4 months in a row. Even though they announced the Scorpio next year, no, that's definitely not going to be the case.
No, the reason the Xbox One is outselling the PlayStation right now is because nobody wanted to buy a PlayStation with the PlayStation Pro right on the horizon. And that's the same thing that's going to happen if they announce the PlayStation 5. Is nobody's going to want to buy a PlayStation. Nobody's going to want to buy a PlayStation 4 if the 5 is out.
Let me explain to you why history dictates that you're already wrong.
Okay.
Every video game company that ever releases a new console, they never release it and say, we're done with the old one.
Oh, yeah, that never happens.
No, absolutely
not. Nintendo's definitely not doing that right fucking now. They definitely didn't do that with the Wii. Microsoft definitely didn't do that with the Xbox.
What I'm saying is,
I love you, Briar.
Xbox
that's unquestionably not going to happen.
Xbox 360.
None of that happened. No.
Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, when they were getting ready to announce the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, of course those sales slowed. But we're looking at shorter lifespans for these consoles in general.
Yeah.
So if they're actually looking for shorter lifespans, a 5-year lifespan to me is respectable. The PS4's already sold insanely well. They're not going to give up this lead to Xbox. I just can't see them doing it.
If they decide to release the PlayStation 5 in 2018, which I think is aggressive and may piss off a lot of PlayStation 4 owners, but if
that's what I'm worried about,
they will not start talking about it until 2018. They're not gonna start talking about it in 2017.
I think there's no way
that's
it'll
a
be announced
big
next
if.
year. Yeah.
See, the thing is, right? Everybody knew that the PlayStation 4 Pro was coming. Microsoft knew it.
Yeah.
What did Microsoft do to try as best they could to stifle gamers from buying that Pro?
They released the Xbox One S, which has a lot of value-added features, and also the Scorpio is coming out way longer down the road than the Xbox or the Pro is.
Yeah, but it's all calculated decision making. At the beginning of their conference, they announced the 1S. At the end of their conference, they announced the Scorpio. I think that the announcement of the Scorpio is for those people who wanted that added power, not the Xbox One power, not the PlayStation 4 power, not the PlayStation 4 Pro power that everybody was already skeptical about. This is going to be the most powerful console of all time. There are people out there who say, wait, I was going to get the Pro, but this is going to be the most powerful console of all time, so let me just hold off for a year and see what that's going to be. If Sony's able to do the same thing, there's still those same people.
I don't think that's why Xbox One is outselling PlayStation right now.
I think a lot of it has to do with that fucking Slim. That Slim is just unattractive.
Slim is a very good package, especially if you have 4K TV, because it has 4K Ultra Blu-ray, Ultra HD Blu-ray. It runs your current games better than they did on the original Xbox One. But the real reason the Xbox One is outselling the PlayStation is because the PlayStation Pro was on the horizon.
Yeah, a lot of people probably stopped.
Why would you buy a PlayStation in the months leading up to the PlayStation Pro? Why would you buy a brand new PlayStation if you didn't already have one?
I mean, I could see some people still being intrigued by people who are not going to upgrade their TV. That's one demographic of the audience.
Even if you're not planning on upgrading your TV, you're gonna get a 4K eventually. Like it's without a doubt. Like your next TV is probably gonna be a 4K TV because you're gonna see 1080p's just disappear, just like you saw standard definition disappear, just like you saw 1280 720 disappear. 1080 is just gonna disappear. All TVs are gonna be 4K. It's gonna be a feature that you get no matter if you want it or not, like 3D. So why wouldn't you get? Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't.
We'll see.
I'm not buying your argument here. I'm not buying it. I think it'd be an unbelievably stupid move by Sony to announce a PlayStation 5 next year.
I have to agree with you on that, Briar. I definitely think it's suicide. They would not do that.
It would definitely not be suicide. I think
it is.
Well, that's the good thing about opinions.
Yeah.
This is the thing. We'll all find out next year if Sony does announce the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a teaser, if it's a PlayStation symbol and a 5, something's going to happen next year. You guys mark my words. And we're going to talk about it then. All right?
So if you're right, though, that will be amazing.
Right? If they do that, right now, I want to talk about the PlayStation Pro. Like, because I've had it now for a few days, and I want to talk about what kind of a value proposition that offers. But one of the problems with buying a PlayStation Pro is that, there aren't games out right now that have been developed with it specifically in mind. And those games aren't coming for a while. Arguably, we won't see them until 2018. Right? Because those games started getting developed in spring of this year. Right? When developers started hearing about the PlayStation Pro. That's when they started getting developed. So if games that are only going to take advantage of the PlayStation Pro start coming in 2018, well, where's the value proposition if a new console is coming out in 2018?
Well, see, look, this is the thing, right? Microsoft and Sony. I'm about to just hush that up, Robbie. Just listen. Microsoft and Sony are on this iterative change, right? They want
Sony has said they're not on that.
Well, this is the thing. If Sony were to announce a PlayStation 5 console to be released sometime late 2018, early 2019, that down-res versions of PlayStation 5 games can also work on the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Sony has said that is not the path they're on. They've already said they're not on that path, Beasley. They said the PlayStation 5 is going to be a new console.
With no backwards compatibility, is what you're saying.
They haven't said anything about backward compatibility, but they said it's going to be a new console.
That's the thing I'm talking about, right? If you buy a PlayStation 4 Pro and they announce the PlayStation 5 to come out in 18 or early 19, and the PlayStation 4 Pro is able to play slightly dumbed down versions of PlayStation 5 games because it has double the power of the PS4, you don't think that's a value proposition to people who bought the Pro?
No.
I don't see them doing that.
I just spent $400 on a PlayStation that I want to take advantage of, and a lot of people are going to be in my situation. You remember the 32X or the Sega CD or the, you can't just keep releasing shit and then not supporting it. Yeah. People get sick of that shit real quick. And if Sony were to come out with another console in 2018, I think that's too quick. I honestly do. I think a lot of people believe that the Pro came out too quick. I just bought a PlayStation 4. You want me to buy another one already?
Yeah, well, they're getting all the money anyway. They got us with VR pros. Sony is killing it. But let me ask you a question: how long do you think this lifespan? What is a good amount of time for the lifespan of the PS4, including the Pro? Everybody complained
once
about
they've
the PS3
released new hardware, I think they gotta support it for 3 years.
So 3 more years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6 years is the average lifespan. Do you think that's the quintessential lifespan? That's respectable.
I think 6 years is good. I think that's good.
This is I'll leave it with this. In my mind, I cannot see Sony releasing all this mind share to the Xbox Scorpio, knowing how far ahead they've pushed, how far ahead they've completely dominated this generation. And this is Sony's only true bread and butter operation, the PlayStation. For them to let Microsoft come and just smear poop all over that, that dream that's become a reality for Sony, in my mind, I find it very hard to believe that they would willingly let that
understand
happen.
your concern, and I also agree with you that I think Sony's in trouble right now because that Scorpio is so appealing to so many gamers.
It is. I'm getting one.
Yeah, we haven't seen. Hold on, let me ban this user. We haven't. We haven't.
I have no idea what's happening.
What the price of the Xbox One Scorpio is going to be. So we don't really know what kind of competition this thing is going to provide. Is it going to be more competition against a PlayStation 4 or more competition against a PC? Like, depending on the price, that makes a big difference with the Scorpio. But I'll say this. If Sony comes out and starts talking about another PlayStation next year, they're going to piss off people. That's too quick a turnaround. People don't want to feel like they constantly need to be upgrading these things. It's one of the attractive parts about having a console over a PC.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I just don't know what they're going to do. In my mind, I feel like they can't sit and do nothing. The only thing in my mind is if they sit and do nothing, they're just giving up something that they seem to have worked so hard for. This generation has been PlayStation land, and it's been amazing to see what the PlayStation 4 has been able to accomplish as far as sales and
But I will say, I think they're on their heels right now. I think the Scorpio announcement put them on their heels. I don't think they saw that coming.
Outflanked. I think they got outflanked. They absolutely did with Scorpio, and they just were like, we have to bite the bullet and release it.
I agree with you, Beastly, that the PlayStation is very important to Sony, but that doesn't mean they're going to be able to make a good decision about this. Like, that doesn't just because it's important doesn't make you like a good decision maker, right? Just because my kids are important to me doesn't make me a good father. I gotta also make good decisions about being a good father.
Analogy right there, man.
It's true though.
I agree with you. I mean, I'm just thinking of it. I'm thinking of it in terms of the way I'd feel about it. If I work so hard for something so amazing, my competition has, outflanked me, as Robbie said so eloquently, I would have to. I couldn't just sit back and just watch all my base shift from me to them because of this one thing. I would have to do something. And I feel like in the deepest recesses of my mind, Sony's in that position. They've got to. Even if it's just doing a Final Fantasy VII remake announcement to get people excited. They might do it next year and say 2019 to get people hyped. That gives them plenty of time. It won't make people quite as angry about the situation, but at least if they put it out there to kind of stifle what I feel is an avalanche of Xbox Scorpios that's getting ready to come down on top of Sony headquarters and destroy everybody there. I just feel like sometimes you got to say something. You got to do something, and I think Sony's in that situation.
Can I put in here real quick?
Sometimes you put your foot in your mouth because you spoke too soon.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Can I just put some in real quick?
No.
Don't ever ask a woman that, Rob. Fucking locked up.
That's not what I meant. I meant, can I put it into the conversation real quick?
Sure, go ahead, Robbie.
I was going to say, Beastly, I totally get your points, and I do agree with you in a sense, but I also think that they have to be careful with the timing of each new, let's say, console iteration. Like if PlayStation 5 came out in 2018, I think that's too soon. I think at least every 3 years, because if you release console iterations too soon, you're going to piss people off. I absolutely think that's going to happen, and they have to be careful of that, I get what you're saying. Like, Sony absolutely wants to keep their stronghold, right? Like, they're winning with PlayStation, and they can see that Microsoft's coming back hard with Scorpio, but I think they got to bite the bullet. I think they got to wait on it.
They have to show the consumer that buying a Sony console is a good value. And if they release things too soon, that value proposition goes away.
I have a quick question, and then I have some speculation, or at least I want you guys' thoughts on something. My question is, how come whenever I hold this water bottle up, I turn extra dark? And then secondly, my question is,
okay,
see, it doesn't work with you, Briar. Look.
Does it change my color? Oh, I go darker. Oh, I'm going black. Okay.
Oh, shit. Extra black. My thing is this, right? In my mind, I see the PlayStation 4 Pro as an upgrade box. I mean, just up-res box, like I've called it in the past. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have its own exclusive content. There really can't, well, at least from what we've heard from Sony, developers can't add exclusive content to games for the PlayStation 4 Pro. At least that's what we heard so far. So in all essence, it is still, for better or worse, still a PS4. It just looks better.
Exactly
it's a shinier new box. So in my mind, if they were to create something maybe to release it in 2019 and say, this is a PlayStation 5, this is different. Every game that comes out for here, you'll never see on the PS4 Pro or the PlayStation 4. This thing is truly revolutionary. It has more power. It is what you've always wanted. You're finally going to be on the level of, mainstream PC gamers. That to me would still be. I wouldn't be that pissed off about it. We'll see. I mean, we've had these kind of arguments before, and things crazy have happened.
They can't release a console that can compete power-wise with a PC. It's just not economically viable.
Yeah.
The Scorpio is going to be close. I think they're still going. When a Scorpio releases, there's still going to be people out there who game on PCs who are not going to have that amount of power. So I mean, it's becoming more of the norm to have a console that can at least compete. The days of PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 are gone, and once that Scorpio comes, that's a new precedent that's going to be set by a home console. If you ask me, it's going to be extremely powerful, and of course, I can't wait to see what Sony does, but they're going to do something. You guys mark my words. Please remember this episode so we can all come back and gloat together. So, Robbie, what have you been playing this week?
Everything okay there?
Nah, it'll be all right.
Pick your balls back up, Briar. Put them back in your drawer.
Good enough.
When my balls dropped, it didn't make that much noise.
It was very silent, but you could hear it in your voice.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Something feels weird.
I remember that.
I remember that feeling too. Remember the day it happened. Wasn't that long ago? Last week.
All right, go ahead, Robert.
Oh yeah. God. All right. What have I been playing this week? Totally got off track. So, this week I have been playing some Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare, because you know what? The game's fun. I'm already feeling kind of bored of the multiplayer though. It is just the same old thing. I think it's fun. I do like the game, but it's already kind of wearing off for me. So I don't know how much I'll be playing it, but I've definitely been playing a lot more this week is Skyrim Special Edition on Xbox One. Been modding the shit out of that because I love that game so much, man. I've beaten it 2 or 3 times, I want to say now, and each new playthrough, I just start a different character, whether that's like a Khajiit or an Argonian or some kind of crazy character. I'm like, I'm going to make this guy a mage, and this other guy, I'm like, I'm going to make him like some crazy, weird class that is a jack of all trades skill. I mean, I love Skyrim. It's just so much fun. You can build whatever character you want. What was that?
Did you play the original?
Original Skyrim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it on release day, man. I mean,
So, how big a deal is this? This is the special edition. I think that there's varied reports based on what platform you buy on, how good it is. Like, how big an upgrade is it over the original?
I'll say I don't actually think the visual difference, just without mods, like just the base version of the special edition, isn't that groundbreaking. Like, it looks good. I'll say that. It looks a lot better than the last gen version, absolutely. But in terms of most current gen releases, I don't think it holds up.
So is it on the same level of maybe Fallout 4? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, actually, I would probably say along those lines. You know what I mean? It looks good. It looks decent, but it's nothing groundbreaking. I think it could have done a little more, to be honest, with this special edition, but I just love the game so much. And there is a mod to fix, whatever you want. So I think
quick question about the mods there. Now, on the PC, you can actually mod the game to look better. You can do all kinds of stuff. Can you do that with the Xbox One too?
Yes, there are a lot of different
Really?
graphical mods. Some are like, little small tweaks, like they change races, they change animals, like rock textures and things like that. Then there's some big ones where it like overhauls the entire weather and stuff like that. It kind of depends, and it can, screw up your frame rate. But that's where, with modding, you got to be careful about what you install, right? Like you got to kind of tweak things, and you got to get the game running as well as you can. And with the Xbox One, obviously, it's a set piece of hardware. It's not a PC where you got to test your computer and see what it can run. But yeah, mods work great so far, and I'm loving the game.
I am torn about that game, man. I'm going to talk later about how I just got the Pro, and that thing is Skyrim is updated for the Pro. I just got a PC, so I'm thinking about, maybe I should get it on the PC. Or I'm also thinking about getting it on the Switch because it'd be so cool to just be able to play a little bit on the TV.
That's the
pick it up and then
yeah.
I want to play that game because I never played the original, but I'm torn.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I have no idea what platform I want to buy it on.
You've never played Skyrim?
That's what I just said.
Yeah, you just said it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Do I need to repeat myself for you, Robbie?
Can you understand the words that are coming out of his mouth?
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Hey, you know what? It's a better time than ever to get into that game because it's gotten better over time with the mods. So that's fantastic.
Every day.
Briar, I actually beat that game and spent tons of time on it, and I had more fun playing that than I did Fallout 4. So.
Me too. I like Skyrim. I think Skyrim is better.
I played previous Elder Scrolls games, and I liked them, but what bugged me was the jankiness of them and the melee stuff. The melee, it always felt like I was hitting like a kung fu grip character where you're just doing this all the time. You know what I mean? Like it just felt so rigid and shitty. So I don't know. Like Skyrim, I saw it. I knew people were just as excited, if not more, than they were about the previous Elder Scrolls games. But it's kind of like I've played this. I've done this before.
Come on, Briar. You can dual wield, man. You can do spells with both hands.
Both hands.
Both hands.
Briar, trust me. Skyrim is an amazing game, and with all the mod support and stuff that's come out over the last 5 years now, they've fixed the combat system. Like if you have problems with it, there's a mod to fix it.
Yeah.
As well. So.
All right. Well, I'm definitely gonna check it out. Like over the winter.
It's got all the DLC too.
I'm not in a hurry. I think this is gonna be a winter game for me. Is just kind of like chill out over the winter with it. But I mean, I'm looking at the chat right now, and PC is clearly the place to get it.
Yeah, definitely PC. Absolutely go on PC. That's another thing.
What else?
You'll get more mods,
anything
better
else?
frame rate. That's about it. Just a lot of Skyrim.
Love that game. I have been playing a ton of shit. I did get the PlayStation Pro. I want to talk about this thing because
please do.
It's a pretty interesting thing. I also got a 4K monitor, so I could check it out. It's just it's a 28-inch monitor that sits on my desk, and it shares.
Does it have HDR support?
No, it does not. It shares duty with the PC. It's really a PC monitor. It's not a TV. There's very few, if any, monitors that offer HDR support.
Gotcha.
So I checked out a couple of games on the PlayStation 4 in 4K. They look better, but they're still running what I would consider. They still look like PlayStation 4 games, if that makes sense, right? They're higher res. They do look a little bit better. In some instances, like with Titanfall, everything it felt like everything looked better, and that game doesn't run at 4K. It runs at like some kind of in between resolution between 1080 and 4K, and then it's super sampled to fit your display. But really, to me, the value proposition isn't there right now for the PlayStation 4 Pro. Unless you're a brand new user coming into the PlayStation,
like my brother, yeah,
I would buy the PlayStation 4 Pro. Like that's just for the extra $100. It's gonna be more future proof. It's also got a spit out an audio, digital audio out, which is kind of nice. But it's like all TVs that you buy in the future are going to be 4K at this point, right? If you're going to Best Buy or Circuit City, does Circuit City still exist?
Hell no, they don't exist.
Why is Circuit City?
Wherever you're going to buy a TV, it's like 4K TVs you could buy for $400 now, right? Like it's time. Your next TV is gonna be 4K. So why not get the PlayStation that supports 4K? In my opinion. But if you have a PlayStation right now, there's not really a compelling reason, and you only play it if you only play it on a TV. There's not really a compelling reason to buy the Pro. But if you have the VR, things are a little bit different. The upgrade for the VR games is pretty significant. A lot of the VR games now on your headset, your headset is 1080p and it's split in half between the two eyeballs, right? So your full vision is taking up 1080p. Most of those games have to run at such a high refresh rate to keep you from getting motion sick, then that the graphical fidelity is low and the resolution that they run at is pretty low. So in games like Drive Club VR, there's a lot of kind of blurriness. Games, a lot of these games, there's a little bit of blurriness, but when they're able to hit that high resolution, that 1080p resolution, and hit the high refresh rate, it looks a lot better. Graphically, it's just, it just looks better. Like it looks clearer, and that is a big deal in VR. So that's kind of my recommendation for the PS4 Pro right now is if you're buying a brand new PlayStation, just get the Pro. If you have a PlayStation and it's working fine, there's not a whole lot of reason to do it. Unless you're really into VR, then there is probably enough of a reason to get the Pro.
Thank you. Now, that was my big question. You just answered it. For me, not having a 4K TV, it's something that I'm looking into. I told you I saw some today that are really reasonably priced. So that's not really an issue, but I don't have one. My question would have been, how does it suit the VR aspect of PlayStation 4? That's something I've really been enjoying, and a game that really suffers from what you just mentioned is Drive Club VR. When you're sitting still, it looks great, but when you're in motion, it looks like, Minecraft. Though it's very, very blurry. So when you were actually playing it on the Pro, you were actually able to make out what was going on around you a lot better because I guess of that extra GPU power and CPU power.
I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. Robbie's trying to get back into the call, and he couldn't. I didn't hear the question. There's Robbie. What was the question again, Beasley?
I'm back.
So you were able to make out better things in the environment in VR with the PS4 Pro. Because that's the game that you mentioned, Drive Club. I had the same problem. I hadn't played it before you mentioned it to me. And then when I got in the car and I was looking around and actually driving, the cars in front of you, behind you, things are really kind of blurry.
Yeah.
When you were playing on the Pro, you were actually able to make out things much better, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it, right? It still wasn't it didn't look like Gran Turismo, right? It wasn't that big a graphical leap, but it looked like it was running at a higher resolution. Right?
Now, did you know that PlayStation VR Worlds does have Pro support?
I did. I haven't played it yet.
Okay. I can't wait to hear what you think about that.
But all right. I for me, the PlayStation Pro was, of course I'm going to get it, there's no doubt.
No choice, yeah.
But I'd have a lot of trouble recommending this to somebody right now. Maybe a year from now, when software that was developed with this thing as a target comes to bear, when that stuff actually comes to market, that might be a different story. Maybe next year Call of Duty, runs much better on the Pro than it does, or maybe Destiny 2 comes out and it can hit 60 frames per second on the Pro, but 30 frames per second on the old hardware. Then I could see a reason to upgrade to the Pro, right? But right now, there is some graphical there are some graphical embellishments in Battlefield 1. There are it looks a little bit better in certain games, but not a ton better. It's not like the difference between going from a PS4 to a PC.
And like you mentioned during the pre-show, some games actually suffer in the Pro mode. Games like The Last of Us, which it has a 60 frames target on the PS4, and it hits that. But on the Pro, when it's up-res to 4K, it doesn't do it, and it suffers greatly, 5 to 6 frames, and that's a major drop. So,
which isn't a big deal, aside from the fact that you just bought new, more powerful, more expensive hardware, and the last thing you want to do is see it run shittier. That's the last thing you want to see.
All right, so the PlayStation 4 Pro has a new controller too, right? I haven't seen it.
It's the same.
Are there any?
It's exactly the same. Yeah. There are differences to it. It's got a little LED strip. Here, let me grab it. That's the one I just dropped.
Oh, that was that noise.
So yeah, you can see there's like a little LED strip at the front. That's new.
Looks nice. It's like
the thumbsticks feel like a harder rubber than what I'm used to with the PlayStation Pros I've gotten. Also, I don't know if there's a difference with the R2 button and the L2 button, the triggers, but they feel a little springier to me than my current controllers. That could be because my current controllers are worn out. It's really kind of hard to tell. I'd have to have like a brand new controller of the other type. But the big difference is that if you plug this into your PlayStation with a USB connection,
no latency.
Your data is now not no latency, less latency.
Your
data is now going over the USB cable instead of using wireless, which is a huge benefit. I don't know about you guys, but my controller just starts freaking out because it seems to have lost its wireless connection. And that can happen at the worst of times, and it's really annoying. So I usually play with a wire in anyway. You can see this one's always wired up. And now, since the new PlayStation controllers support that, that's great. Like you could now, if you want to be competitive or if you just don't want shit to fuck up, you have that option, and that's great.
For both of those things, competition and not fucking up. Awesome. So again, your final take on this is, if you have a PS4 right now and you're not really into VR, there's no need to upgrade to this. Yeah. If you are on PS4 Pro, if you have the PS4, you like PlayStation VR, this might be an option. That's something that I'm going to do it for. And for people who don't have PlayStation 4s, they should definitely grab the Pro.
It's not like a night and day difference even with VR, but to me, it does make enough of a difference to make me happy that I have the Pro. Running 4K games on a 4K monitor, it looks nice. It's not that big a deal compared to a 1080p monitor, especially on my desk.
Yeah. Well, if you had like a 60-inch 4K,
it might be a different story. If I had a 60-inch,
yeah, it'd make a little bit more of a difference. Well, I'm happy to actually get that little bit of information from you. My brother has the 4K or the PlayStation 4 Pro. No games because he didn't know what to buy, but at least now I got the skinny from the Rabbit himself. Thank you for that information. I'm sure everybody appreciates it.
The real problem with the Pro to me is the value proposition that it represents. Right? Is like we all know. We might disagree on when Sony is going to start talking about the PlayStation 5, but we all know it's going to come eventually. And at what point do games start coming out with the Pro in mind that really start taking advantage of that hardware? And at what point do you start saving your money for the 5? Right? And like, how closely are those two things related? Like, how much do they overlap? And because right now, you're getting older games that are updated for the Pro, but it's not that big a deal. A year from now, 2 years from now, you're going to see games that were developed with this hardware in mind that will probably take much more advantage of it because it is a significant boost in power. But it's not being taken advantage of on these old games.
Mm-hmm.
So,
my thing. See, I have a question before we get to the news, and
I'm not going to talk about what I've been playing yet either.
Okay, you got it. My big question is, do you really think it'll come to a point where developers are making games with the Pro in mind versus the vanilla PS4? Because from what I understood from the announcement and from Cerny speaking about it and Andrew House talking about this thing, is that all the games on PlayStation 4 are made with the PS4 in mind, and they're kind of up-res for the Pro, with Pro compatibility. And that's kind of what I took away from it, that they weren't going to be making games.
If you were making a game right now, and you knew that you had to sell this game, and you're going to make TV commercials, and you're going to have ads on YouTube with gameplay,
I use the Pro
and
footage
screenshots,
for sure.
Which one would you be targeting? You could have all the high-res textures and the 4K, and running at 30 frames per second. Which one would you be targeting?
I would be at least showing it to the masses. I'd be targeting the Pro, but
right.
I still feel like at the end of the day, all these games are just going to be vanilla PS4 games that are up-resed, because they're not going to have
buying Borderlands, right? If you buy Borderlands on a PC, depending on how powerful your PC, depends on how good Borderlands is going to look, right? That's what I'm seeing with this thing, is that it runs the same game, but they could use higher resolution textures. They can make the same game look a lot better. But right now, it's all patched in. It hasn't been developed for that.
Gotcha.
Robbie, what are you doing?
He's trying to dream of being you. He's looking at you, Briar, and he's fantasizing. Okay.
It seems to be really bothering you.
He's like, get that fucking.
All right, so I also got a PC this week.
No, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Can I just hang up on Robbie?
Yeah.
No, that's not allowed. What?
Nobody tells me something's not allowed. I mean, you just don't do it. No, he said. He said no.
Oh, God. Fuck. Robbie just got fucked up.
That chat is perfect right now.
First of all, fuck you guys. I can't believe you actually hung up on me.
You said no, you can't. I said, oh yes, I can.
Dude, got that Briar hammered on you.
Same way.
So I also got a PC this week, and I've been having a ton of fun with that. I downloaded a bunch of games that I already had on my Steam account. Borderlands 2, BioShock Infinite, and a couple others. And I gotta tell you, I'm pretty happy with the graphical fidelity of these games. Like, it's funny that I've been you know, kind of comparing the PlayStation and the PlayStation 4 Pro, or the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, but also, like, at the same time, I just happened to get a PC at the same time, so it's been kind of funny, like, comparing the two. So I've been having a lot of fun messing around with a new PC. This thing's pretty powerful too. So
what did you get, Brian?
I got
what type of PC?
I don't remember the name of the brand.
Do you remember any of the specs on it?
Yeah, it's got a i7 4700K or 6700K processor, and it's got two Radeon 480s running in Crossfire.
That's a Skylake processor, right?
Yeah.
That's the same one inside my laptop.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice, and it runs pretty fucking good, and I'm running games at pretty high resolutions with decent frame rates.
What type of GPUs in there?
Radeon 480s, running two of them running in Crossfire.
Whoo! That's real life. That's fucking real life in that piece.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I got it at a fucking incredible deal, too, which is really nice.
So all this stuff came as one package? You didn't build it all up yourself?
No, I got no time for that.
Well, I know that this is something you were looking into about a year ago. You were trying to build the perfect Oculus Rift VR desktop, and I remember when you kind of let that go. Good to hear. So are you running Windows on this PC?
Yeah, it's running Windows.
One of us.
I've been running Windows for the last 2 years because of streaming, right? It's like, you know, streaming is just much easier, much more reliable on a Windows machine. Much more reliable.
That's not something you can say.
This is awesome.
Like, if you want to stream, it's much easier to do on a PC. So I've been running a PC, or I've been running Windows for, you know, last year and a half, 2 years. But what I really wanted was a separate dedicated streaming PC. And so that's why I bought this thing. The fact that it plays games really nice too. That's just extra.
Wow. So are you leaving the console world behind?
No.
Good. All right.
Seems better.
I also got to play a little bit of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Remastered. I don't like it.
What?
Yeah, I don't really like it.
What don't you like about it?
It doesn't feel like COD 4 to me. It doesn't have that crisp input control. It doesn't have that Call of Duty feel. It looks like COD 4. It smells like COD 4, but it's not COD 4.
And smell it?
It's not COD 4. And like it's
You better watch out, Robbie. You're gonna get hung up on again. Just say yes, Robbie.
What did I do?
It's funny too because I'm also playing Titanfall 2.
Don't be jealous.
And they're on the both. Robbie, let me talk. Robbie, I'm playing Titanfall 2 and I'm playing COD 4. And Titanfall 2 is actually developed by the people who developed the original COD 4, right? It's made by the original guys who made Infinity Ward. And it's funny because that game feels so precise and it feels so good. It's got this intangible that just makes it fun because it feels good. COD 4 has that, or it had it on the 360 and on the PS3. Arguably more so on the 360.
360, yeah.
Remastered doesn't have it. There's a delay to it. It just doesn't have that briskness. It looks great. It looks like the game, but it's not the game. It's and it isn't the game, right? It's the game is, the current game with the COD 4 stuff laid over top. And it feels like the current game. It feels like that kind of high latency mess that COD has turned into over the years, that it was not what we fell in love with initially.
So it's a modern Call of Duty rescanned as COD 4.
That's what it is, technically, yes.
Wow.
But it's lost that feeling.
Yeah,
wow.
I know a lot of people are having trouble getting into COD 4 too, because obviously compared to like Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare, you are just jumping over the place. That game is all about movement. Yeah. Whereas Call of Duty 4 is kind of more slower and more tactical. It's boots on the ground. It's basically what it is. Right. So, I mean,
that's the
I
COD
enjoyed it
I
when
like.
I played it, but
that's
it definitely
the COD I enjoy. Right? I don't like the new COD. I haven't liked the new COD ever since they started with this boosting bullshit all over the map. Advanced Warfare was the game I stopped playing COD with. Black Ops 3 failed to bring me back. Infinite Warfare has no chance of bringing me back. But this game, it looks like COD 4, but it's not. It's just not. And it feels like it's not. I can't put my finger on exactly what it is, but it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel...
That sums it up right there. If you can't put your finger on it, that lets you know something's wrong. Because
if you put it in and it doesn't feel right,
it's all in the controls, Briar. And you're talking about how the controls feel, how it translated from the past to now. If you can't put your finger on it, that's the best way to describe it. Just drop the mic. Fuck. All right, so
I've been playing a lot, so sorry.
Briar, quick question. Have you not been playing Destiny? Have you just been tinkering with your new laptop?
I played Destiny all day today.
I saw your stream. Yeah, but you've been spending a lot more time on your PC, and I guess since it's so new, you've been wanting to enjoy that too, right?
Takes a long time just to set up the PC for streaming. There's a lot of software that needs to be downloaded and installed. So, like, basically all day yesterday was no video games, just, like, get this PC running.
All right. Well, welcome back, my friend.
Yeah. I've been playing Titanfall 2 and stuff like that as well.
Have you beaten Titanfall yet?
I haven't put any more time into the single player since I streamed it last weekend.
Yeah, it's more of a multiplayer foray. I got you. That's the one that's on my short list. It's probably the game I'm going to buy first. Kate, she was asking me to get COD first. I said, hell nah. That Titanfall looked fire. That's how they say it.
Sale a couple of days ago. It was like half price. Or no,
really?
It was $60 and you got Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2.
Wow. For $60?
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Steam?
I don't remember where it was.
Shit. Well, Black Friday is a couple weeks away. I'm excited about that too. Robbie, would you like to get us started with our news for the week, sir?
Yeah, for sure. Our first bit of news does have to do with Call of Duty. So let's get started. Call of Duty Infinite Warfare sales in the UK were down almost 50% compared to Black Ops 3 within its first week on sale. I mean, this game's basically, in every sense, sold way less. I think Call of Duty's finally starting to decline. So
I think it's been in decline. I think it's been in decline since what, Advanced Warfare?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of spiked up a little bit with Black Ops 3, but now it's just going kind of straight down. I think a lot of people just weren't a fan of, the futuristic setting. Like you saw when the game was announced, the YouTube trailer had, 3 million dislikes? So it shows people are just tired of Call of Duty and they want something to change. Like they don't want.
Are they tired of Call of Duty or are they tired of what they've done to
this
Call
new
of Duty?
shit?
I'm personally, I just don't like where they've taken Call of Duty.
Yeah,
like, I don't like the design decisions they've made. I don't like what the game, how the game plays. I don't like much about it anymore. It doesn't in any way resemble the game that I fell in love with in COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 1. Those games were the games that I fell in love with, and even Black Ops 2 I really liked.
Those are the games I fell in love with you over too, Briar.
Yeah, but I mean these games don't have. What does Infinite Warfare have to do with COD 4?
Nothing.
Fuck all.
Right. Yeah, well put.
Well, the thing is, Activision has to see. They've got to recognize this trend and do something about it. They need to make a fucking Call of Duty kart racer. It has to be that different. They need to go back to the way Call of Duty used to be when it was huge.
They need to focus on fast inputs. They need to focus on gameplay. They need to focus on map design. They need all of that stuff is just
let's not get Briar started. He ain't having it today, ladies and gentlemen. The next little bit of news, Nintendo has officially announced the end of production for the Wii U, starting in Japan and then worldwide in the coming weeks.
But didn't they just say last week they weren't going to stop?
Yeah, they said they weren't going to do it, Briar. But they weren't going to do it last week.
But I believed them. I said, "Oh yeah, if they say they're not stopping production, they're not stopping production."
Yeah.
And remember when Nintendo said a while ago that the Wii U would continue until March 2018? Looks like that was just bullshit. Yeah.
Huh.
Well,
weird.
I mean, I guess it's a good time. It's a good time. You know, we're what, 5 months away from the Switch.
Yeah.
They don't want to have a shit ton of it. I mean, they need to release the last of the Wii U's for $100 during
Black Friday. They got to sell through their inventory, right? They got to get rid of that old stuff because it's not going to be worth anything to anybody. You know, you can't have 600,000 of these things sitting in a warehouse somewhere, just taking up space and costing money. Gotta get rid of them.
I wonder if this means too, because the thing that I don't understand why they're ending production now is that The Legend of Zelda, which would be probably the only thing that would sell on the Wii U really well, why are they not just waiting until that's out and then end production? Maybe, who knows? Maybe they might even drop the Wii U version for that. No idea.
They're going to get rid of these things. They're going to drop that price so cheap that, unaware children are going to think it's the new shit when their parents bring it home for Christmas. I mean, Black Friday, they got the 3DS. It's a new 3DS they've made just for Black Friday. I'm buying one for Kate. She's the only person that, of all 25 people in this house who don't have a 3DS for $100. You can't beat that. $100 for a brand new 3DS. Wow. And so they're probably going to do something real similar with the Wii U just to get rid of them. I mean, the more the merrier, I guess, to get out here, at least make the Wii U look better than it does right now, because it's been on the market since 2012 and it's only sold 14 million units.
Everyone's known for ages that the Wii U is just not going to do anything. They're writing
pretty bad
for a couple of years now that the Wii U is just kind of done. So that's it. It's official now. And
I think they wrote it right on that gamepad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Naughty Dog, Activision, Ubisoft, and more are among the currently confirmed developers and publishers to appear at this year's PlayStation Experience, which will take place on December 3rd and 4th.
Whew. Cannot wait for that. The thing that excites me...
Naughty Dog, huh?
Naughty Dog, yeah.
What the hell are they going to show, Briar?
Does this mean their next game?
Maybe.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I hope they're not going to just show off Uncharted 4 high res.
New maps.
Well, Uncharted 4's single-player DLC. I bet that's almost guaranteed. That will be announced.
That's not what I want to hear, man. I want a new game.
An amazing single-player, though. Yeah, and I want the new game. I do want the new game, of course, whether that's The Last of Us 2, which I think is very likely, or maybe some new IP. Who knows what they're doing.
Nolan North already said that it's a confirmed thing. That's the one thing that he leaked during one of his press conferences, is that that The Last of Us 2 is something that's being worked on, and it just makes me feel extremely excited just to think about it. Can't wait.
That little giggle there.
Yeah, that was something else. Can we get a replay on that? Can we rewind that?
Man, it'll be Bitch Bombs of 2017, 2018. I can't wait. It's exciting times.
Bitch Bombs sequel.
One thing that's not going to be there is a Sony Santa Monica. They're not going to be showing any God of War 4 stuff. What do you guys think we're going to see?
That bums me out, man.
That's a game I thought we'd see something. Because, they kind of smacked the whole world with that reveal trailer. It looks so good. I'm so excited for it. And they haven't released anything since, I think, Moses part of the Red Sea. I want to see something.
This shows they're being patient, though, and I think that actually might be good, because I would say God of War is probably going to be out fall 2017, I would think. And so maybe they're waiting for around E3 or some separate thing to show more footage. I think being patient is good. Like, it's easy to show too much of a game and then people end up being disappointed with it. It's happened before. I don't think it's a bad thing necessarily.
Somebody's pussy's meowing. One thing I will say.
That's my pussy. Yes.
Lowbrow, man. Lowbrow.
I don't know why we had to.
Disappointed in you, Beasley. Yeah. Disappointed.
At least you didn't say grab about pussy.
After all these years,
there was a softball flying at you, and you had a bat in your hands, and you swung and missed.
Poor judgment there.
Fire is in rare form today, ladies and gentlemen. But let me just say this, right? We want. It's exciting. PlayStation Experience, E3, Tokyo Game Show. We always want to see something new and be wowed. Spirit fingers. Ooh. But last year, PlayStation Experience let me down big time. I was very disappointed.
Fuck yeah,
it sucked.
Yeah. There
As
it goes
a Destiny
again.
player, I was expecting a brand new DLC. I got SRL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really a very poor showing. So the fact that they got Naughty Dog, Activision, and Ubisoft. Who knows if the games Ubisoft shows? Actually, Ubisoft.
No, Ubisoft.
You are soft.
He said you are soft. But at least it sounds like it's going to be kind of exciting this year. Sony, if they're going to have their own experience every year, it needs to be something revolutionary and something that's going to get the blood pumping of the PlayStation audience. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for it. Robbie, do you want to keep us rolling with the next bit of news?
Yeah, and just to quickly add on to it, though.
Eyes, Briar. What the hell are you looking at? Go ahead, Robbie.
Briar's thinking about pussy now. The cat, not the... Never mind. Never mind.
This is a show about video. This is a family fucking program.
We're about video games, right? Yeah, and we just... Oh, man. Yeah, one quick thing to add on, though. Yeah, PlayStation Experience, they should have a first-party presence there. So I think that's what's important to make it good. But yeah, moving on. What's next?
Demand for the recently released NES Classic Edition has proven to be high, as it has crashed the popular online retailer Amazon within an hour of going on sale. The device has been sold out in most stores since its release on Thursday. The system is selling upwards of $5,000 on eBay currently. Holy fuck.
Yeah, people are basically Nintendo's selling like really low stock to stores, and then people are buying them and selling them at crazy prices.
That cat, man. That cat got something stuck in his ass. All right.
This is the cat, like, all day, every day, guys. She will not stop meowing.
That's fascinating.
You hear this fucking cat right now? What do you
That's
want?
awesome. It's fascinating.
Okay, I'll pet you. Okay.
He sounds like a Vulcan from Star Trek. Fascinating. I want one of these things, one of these classic mini NESs, right? For $60, $10 for a controller. Yeah. But, did you see the lines during the release, like at Best Buy and stuff? It was winding around stores all the way around. People were going there and buying as many as they could, just so they could go on eBay and upsell them.
Yeah. Fucking
scoundrels. These people need to be locked up. They need to have a special place in Guantanamo Bay for these people who buy these, beautiful mini NESs and sell them at 50 or 100 times their original price to needy consumers. It's just wrong.
I'm not really. I watched a few like reviews on this thing or like unboxings and like, hey, let's check this thing out. A couple of things that really kind of shitty about it, like the controller cords are like 3 feet long, so you gotta like. You basically what you got to do is run the USB and the HDMI cable over to the couch because you have to. It's true. You have to be sitting next to the console because the two buttons, the reset button is the only way to get out of a game to the menu. So you have to be within reach of that reset button.
Oh, what?
Yeah. And you'll get a 3-foot cable connected the controller to the thing, so you can't be too far away. It's a ridiculous design.
Wow.
Like, I don't understand why they didn't either A, make the controllers wireless, or B, put like a 6-foot, 8-foot, 10-foot long cord on those things.
They want that, wait for it, classic feel. That's why they did it. It's classic.
No, it's not. The classic feel was right before you were born, my friend. And Nintendo's cords were actually long enough for you to move around and play. Fuck.
Were they longer on the original NES?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, did not know that. Well, that's important then.
That cat is a comedy gold. I love it.
But yeah,
this is a cat all day long,
to me,
guys.
I want this thing. I'll be honest with you. I want this thing because I want to play around with some of those little games. But at the same time, I could just get the games for Wii U or 3DS or Switch when it comes out. So it's not like that compelling. It's just kind of like it'd be a cool stocking stuffer. I'd rather somebody buy it for me than buy it myself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, sure.
He's throwing out hints.
Like I wouldn't. I'll be honest with you. I have no intention of buying this thing.
The reason I want it is because I think it's an officially licensed Nintendo console. Yeah. It's something I don't need. I got cartridges out the ass in the living room. Yeah. I just think it would look nice in my gaming setup. That's the.
I still think the value is amazing though, because you're getting 30 games for $60 with this little system. Like that's $2 per game
you can
plus
get
the controller.
Games for free on a phone, Robbie. I mean, of course, Nintendo games are the pivotal. They're the best, IPs out there.
Yeah, I think nothing's better than Ice Climber, man. You gotta get the original Nintendo version of Ice Climber. Otherwise, you just haven't had the experience.
Are you being serious right now?
No.
Absolutely. All right.
I was confused.
I didn't know what your childhood was like. I was like, please tell me your.
Unfortunately, it did involve Ice Climber.
Oh. I was like, what's he going to say next? Karnov is a classic. All right. Well, the last little bit of news we have is serial reports indicate that the PlayStation 4 Pro versions of some games running at 1080p actually perform worse than the standard PS4 version. Frame rate has been the most noticeable difference, as it may simply be a poor optimization of the PS4 Pro's capabilities. We did touch on this earlier. Briar, as someone with the PS4, you probably have a little bit more knowledge about this than others. You do have The Last of Us. Have you tried it on the Pro?
It's a fucking cat. Oh my god.
No. Robbie, enough with the cat. Nobody cares.
just won't stop rubbing my leg and meowing. It's adorable, but it's annoying.
This is something. You said it again. This is awesome. This is the thing about the Pro, right? A lot of people are upset about this, and I understand if you buy a new piece of hardware, you want it from that moment to be, head and shoulders above everything else. But when something is this new, especially with the way technology works, there are going to be updates and patches that fix these kind of issues, in my opinion. Sony already mandated that games that come out on the vanilla PS4 should not ever run at a lower frame rate on the PlayStation 4 Pro. And the fact that we're seeing this in very few games, Digital Foundry did specify very few of the games that they've actually tested have had this issue. I'm thinking that over the next weeks and maybe a few months, this issue should be rectified. I look forward to next year. After, Christmas kills me, and after my daughter's birthday and having a new kid kills me, and I'm able to take a breath again, getting my PlayStation. One of these days, Robbie.
Let's make them pay rent, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Nova, get to work. I think she's playing with her fucking phone. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to grabbing the Pro. Right now, I don't see the super desire to get it. The fact of the matter is, my PlayStation VR experience has been really good. The vanilla PS4. I do notice some of the, minor graphical hiccups in games like Drive Club, but all in all, for the most part, I've been pretty pleased with it. I'm looking forward to experiencing that more, and I've got a ton of stuff. I really don't have any need right now to just bear down and boom, buy one.
I don't know that it really offers any compelling reason to spend an extra $400 if you already have a PS4 too. That's the thing about it. It's definitely not going. It's not a generational leap by any means.
And like I did a video talking about this, knowing me, I wouldn't even sell the PS4 I have now. It would just stay. Yeah. I don't sell things. I didn't sell Quantum Break, even though I thought it was a horrible game. I mean, I got shit and I just don't sell it. So to me, it would just be more money wasted. Yeah. We'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm really happy we got together to talk about video games, cats, right? Seeing Robbie get hung up on twice. This is some, people pay to see this stuff normally, Robbie. Today, Briar gave it to us all for free, and it's been an epic Beastly Thoughts episode 132 today.
I hate you guys.
We love you too, Robbie. Just don't tell Briar not to hang up on your ass next time. Look, Briar looking at him. Better not say it.
Why would he taunt me like that? Why would he even taunt me like that? He knows it's gonna happen. I got an itchy trigger for you, Robbie.
Briar, hey, look, man, Briar ain't playing today. What's in the cup, Briar? What's in the cup? What are you even sipping on? He ain't fucking around, Robbie.
He's drunk as hell. That's why he's doing crazy things.
I told you earlier.
You're a crazy old man.
That's one of the benefits of getting old. You
Damn
can get
right.
away with it.
It's an excuse. Yo, young ass.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for the show. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you next week.
Guys.
My cheeks hurt, guys.
So that means it was a good show.
Good show.
All right.